Multi-user MIMO is a capacity solution, where it can significantly increase spectral efficiency if the complete set of RBs are being allocated to different paired users. In this video we are going to present the following points. 1. Simplified illustration of how the resource will be allocated. 2. Multi-user MIMO impact on both DL user and cell throughput. 3. Quick hits, questions and answers.
Multi-user is an effective solution for increasing spectral efficiency. Spectral efficiency can be doubled if the complete set of resources blocks is allocated to 2 UE. Similarly, spectral efficiency can be quadrupled if the complete set of resources blocks is allocated to 4 UE. 4 assumptions will be considered for the resource allocation simulation example. 1. Users geographically distributed. 2. Heavy continuous download users. 3. All users enjoying good radio conditions. 4. In total, 6 users will be served by massive MIMO cell.
As you can observe here, user 1, 2, 3 and 4 have been allocated with full set of resource blocks using different layers. However, when user 5 and 6 accessed the cell in almost same location with user 4, the resource blocks of layer 4 has been split between user 4, 5 and 6. The next part will show the impact on both downlink user and cell throughput.
Now, let us show the impact on DL user throughput and cell throughput during multi-user MIMO testing following the previous allocation example. The same can be verified from the field testing in your network.
As seen here, the downlink user throughput for user 1, 2, 3, and 4 remains stable even after new user was accessing the cell. However, the downlink speed of user 4 almost reduced by 3 times after user 5 and 6 accessed the same layer which was being used by user 4, and it was also observed that downlink cell throughput almost increased by 4 times since the massive MIMO cell have utilized 4 different layers among all users.
Hello Roger, how are you? I have some queries regarding multi-user MIMO. I would appreciate your clarifying them. Many thanks for considering my request.
Hello Stephen, I am doing very well. I wish the same for you. Please feel free to ask any questions.
What do you mean by low correlated users or users being separated in the spatial domain?
It simply means that users should be geographically separated. In other words, it means that each user is served by different beams. And you need to consider that the performance of multi-user MIMO is likely to be comprised if users are clustered together at one location.
Does multi-user MIMO only work with massive MIMO?
Multi-user MIMO is not restricted to massive MIMO and can be supported by smaller antenna systems such as AT8R. However, the smaller antenna system has a lower beamforming gain. Accordingly, it will have less beamforming and multi-user performance gain than the massive MIMO system.
Does multi-user MIMO work by both analog and digital beamforming?
Multi-user MIMO is only supported by digital beamforming. And this is because analog beamforming can generate only a single beam.
Is it possible for paired users to operate with rank 4 during multi-user MIMO?
As per 3GPP, vendors should provide the assumptions of the maximum supported ranking during multi-user MIMO. However, multi-user MIMO is typically associated with lower order MIMO. Maximum 2x2 MIMO can be supported in 5G because it becomes difficult to identify sufficient uncorrelated propagation paths toward each UE. Hence, lower ranking might impact the maximum speed in some particular scenarios, which is why it is recommended to enable MU-MIMO in high traffic demand sites, and to go through all related MU-MIMO triggering conditions/parameters to ensure that MU-MIMO is taking more effect in high traffic.
What are the main differences between 4G and 5G multi-user MIMO?
There are no major differences between 4G and 5G. Both support up to 16 paired layers in downlink and 8 layers for uplink, 64T64R. However, the main difference is that only 5G can support PDCCH multi-user MIMO.
How to measure the performance of multi-user MIMO?
You need to verify/monitor the performance of multi-user MIMO from both fields and KPIs. From field testing, you can verify through simulating a test like the previously illustrated user throughput and cell throughput testing, where multiple drive testers are allocated in different directions, and each is performing download in sequence to gauge the impact on both user throughput and cell throughput. From KPIs, you can verify through the following. 1. Traffic distribution per layer to check the maximum supported layers. 2. Disable MU-MIMO to gauge the impact during high traffic scenarios. 3. Check the transmission mode distribution in 4G, beamforming modes, TM7 and TM8 expected to be higher in high load scenarios.